Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your Ice Dragon, RayronVR. And today we're kind of experimenting with a brand new series here called Under the Shell. And it's kind of an experimental series I think I'm going to try to do here. I know some of you have been wanting to know a little bit more of my DCC conversions, especially with this guy. This guy's been a little bit popular lately on the channel. This is the BL2 from Missouri Pacific from AHM. And so when it comes to DCC installs, I tend to do it off camera. I just like watching, either YouTube streams or listening to music, and I haven't really done those on camera. But I'm trying to meet with a little bit of a compromise. I'll show you guys kind of what I did underneath the shell, just kind of showcasing what I did. I may have this series also if I do feel brave enough to do kind of a DCC install on camera. Then this will probably be the series that I do it under. But again, it's not going to be a common thing on my channel. This will be just something out of fun, per se, and just kind of general knowledge. And by no means am I an expert to DCC installs. I am a novice, to say the least. This guy right here was actually my first full-blown DC to DCC conversion with most of the proper internal workings of a DCC locomotive that you typically see. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let's take a look at what's underneath the shell. So one thing to note here, I did kind of label my type of engine that I have, because an EMD, that's going to be important for when I go to programming sounds a little bit later. I also labeled this 4111. Now this engine doesn't have the numbers on the side, and so what I'm going to do to fix that is I bought some decals. This comes from Microscale Industries. This is their microscale decal system. They have all the decals from a lot of the fallen flags, even class 1 railroads, and they give you a lot of instructions on how to properly put the decals on, which is amazing. You can see we got the Eagle here. We got all the kind of fallen flags that Mopac kind of acquired, C&I, Texas and Pacific, the Missouri Pacific lines, and so forth there. And so, but the big thing too is that we've got the lines of the Mopac. Oh, I'm sorry, that's way bright. Let's see, let's get this. There we go. My apologies. We've got the numbers there, and that's gonna be the important one, because then I can put decals on the locomotive here. So I researched the numbers that Missouri Pacific had in prototypical, and 4111 was the number I chose for this. So we'll eventually put those decals onto the locomotive. And what's cool about this is that the instructions here go above and beyond. Like, I got this instruction sheet here that kind of shows you the exact way to put these decals on for Mopac. So we got the chevrons in the front and back here, the Eagle, where you typically see the Mopac insignia there, and it gives you a whole bunch of road numbers as well up here and all the resources. So I gotta find these books, because I'm a die-hard Mopac fan. The type of scales there, and then some paint schemes as well. That's another cool thing about it. Again, more numbering, just more prototypical information. Yep, so there's a Screaming Eagle logo. All the details there. Way cool. So definitely above and beyond when it comes to information. Highly recommend. But yeah, so I got to put decals on there. I was debating putting a Screaming Eagle back here, but I think I'm actually against it for right now. So for now, I'm just going to put the numbers on there. So in order to open this up, we've got 4 tabs here that we got to pry the shell open with. I have already done some internal modifications, so bear with me. I tend to struggle when it comes to open up these shells, so I'm going to struggle a little bit here. Alright, so we're going to pry the front open here. Okay, pry the back ones, and hope I can let gravity do the rest. There we go. Okay, so there we go. So you can see kind of my inner workings here. I'll go ahead and put this onto here. When it comes to like cleanness of the wiring and wiring discipline and all that, cable management, I'm not the greatest. I'm still kind of learning my way through. So I did service this motor, cleaned out the all the insides and the brushes and everything. Put a little dab of oil on the top there, so this motor does run. You guys see I'm plenty on my shorts. So what I've kind of done here is I've got a Dakota Buddy. I'm a big fan of the Dakota Buddy because having those nice big pads there definitely makes soldering a lot easier. Up here we've got the two motor wires that go all the way back here to the motor. I've got a Soundtrax Current Keeper 2 that keeps this alive. Definitely need it because of the way this this motor. I think it's a, let's see, I think it is a five pole motor. But when it comes to current pickup, it's not the greatest, especially if you have frogs that are not electrified. This thing will definitely stall on it, so that's why I put a current keeper. Current keeper is attached to the board of the Dakota Buddy. And let me bring out the schematics for that real quick. So I've got one over here. So here's our Dakota Buddy Mini. So you can see all of the pads there. SP is, if I remember correctly, that's your speakers. The U plus on the ground is for current keeper. M1, M2 is for your motor. And then some more pickups. Again, this has, there we go. Should be showing you this side. So yeah, orange and gray there for your motor. Track A and B. Track A and B for your pickups. Speakers. And then your two keep alives there. So yeah, definitely a big fan of that. If I remember correctly, I think these are functions. Again, I think I could be wrong about that, but I don't have functions on this just yet. Again, this was kind of my first experiment with just the basics. I got my Soundtrax speaker up here, and I've got that kind of soldered on the little ends right here. So one there, one there. When it comes to the speaker, I think it's just too small for my application because when I try to crank it up a little bit, you do hear that crackling sound of the speaker peaking. Now, I thought the ohms were good, and I experimented with it, adjusted the sounds and everything, and it's still a little bit too low for my taste, so I'm probably going to go with a bigger speaker next time, so kind of a little bit of a lesson learned, but nevertheless, we do have sound on this particular locomotive. And as far as my decoder, I've got an economy decoder, 21 pin that I have here. Allows me to have the sound, allows me to program. I'm slightly biased towards Soundtrack just because of the whole Bluenami series. And now that Bluenami or Soundtrax has announced a new Bluenami 21 pin decoder, this will be the first one that I convert over. So I'll probably do an upgrade swap of the 21 pin here. And I'll probably at the same time upgrade my speaker as well when I get an opportunity to. So. But yeah, this is basically how I did it. The LED used to be like, or not LED, little bulb used to be like in this section of the locomotive. I ripped all that out because eventually what I would like to do is put a LED in the front here and eventually put an LED in the back. But I haven't got the correct LED for this size locomotive. So it is on the to-do list. But I kind of just want to show you guys the basics. I'll probably do another episode, part 2, 3, when I, do the decaling perhaps, or when I got the decaling done. Kind of a project series. So, but yeah, that's basically what's underneath the shell for this episode. Again, just taking a basic AHM locomotive, converting it to DCC with all the inner works. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the Dakota Buddy. Makes newbies like me a little bit more easier to manage. I like the size of it. I like the convenience of just being able to put the 21 pin decoder in and you're good to go. So I find it very, very simple to convert this. So, but yeah, so that is basically episode 1 of Underneath the Shell. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want more videos like this? I'm going to continue to experiment with this series and see where it takes us. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.